Well, it may not be a sitting week this week, but there's a lot around in and around Canberra. Joining me now to discuss those headlines and more, Sky News host, Daily Telegraph's National Affairs editor James Morrow and senior writer and columnist for Victoria's Herald Sun, Peta Credlin. Gents, welcome as always. Let's get into this latest round of voice polling. This is the Resolve Political Monitor published today in the Sydney Morning Herald. Not looking good for the Prime Minister. His net performance rating has fallen from 16 to just 2 percentage points. The gap between Labor and the Coalition's down to only 4 percentage points on primary. That's down from 9 points being the difference, being the margin last month. And support for the Voice, well, that's also slipped down a further 2 points from 48 to 46. But it's this massive drop from last year, a 63% high last year. What's that, 20% drop? That's not looking good. PM's running around saying it's all because of the no camp spreading misinformation. I tell you what, James, I'll get to misinformation in a moment, but getting that sort of 20 percentage point drop on an issue like this, where it has had plenty of airtime, I mean, the bloke's got the biggest microphone in the country as Prime Minister, this is pretty catastrophic. Well, I reckon they haven't even got a floor on these numbers. I reckon they're going to keep dropping. What do you make of it all?
Well, yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right, Peter. I think it is catastrophic for the Prime Minister on a couple of levels. You know, I mean, you mentioned misinformation before. The real reason why I think this thing is going down is because they've got no information. We have no idea what the legislation is going to look like to actually create the Voice, which people have questions about. At this point, that means that 4 out of 7 High Court justices are probably the most important people to decide what this new chapter of the Constitution would look like. But beyond that, I think what you said in your editorial was correct, that people have a fundamental disagreement with the principle of this division of people by race and by their heritage and by how long they've been here. I feel this keenly as somebody who's only been here for 20 and a bit years. In terms of the polling, though, it's very interesting, too, because you dive into it and you see that people are really starting to connect Anthony Albanese's prime ministership with the Voice, and they're saying he's spending too much time on this, and it's not a #1 issue for them, and they would much rather be seeing a focus on things like cost of living and the soaring energy prices, which we've seen under this government.